What's up, guys? It's Derrick with Houston Freethinkers. We are here with John J. Myers. How you doing, sir? He's running for Senate. He'll be running against Ted Cruz, as some of you guys know. And we're just here to give him a chance to speak what he's about and let you know that there is a third candidate running in that race.
Hey, well, thanks a lot. Specifically, I think besides just the trust issue, I think that some people have on how would Ted Cruz vote, considering he's not the outsider he was painted to be, considering the connections that he and his wife have to most of what people think is kind of hurting this country, and the fact that he worked for Bush and his domestic policy, which led to the bailouts, which is what most Tea Party people think that they were railing against. But I think outside of that, if we're really just talking politics, one of the most striking differences between me and Ted Cruz is the fact that I am not a conservative. I'm a libertarian. I don't believe that, I am very conservative with how a government should be, how big a government should be, as conservative as you can get, sure. But it's not conservative to go into war. There's nothing conservative about war. It's not conservative to tell people what they can do with their life. There's nothing conservative about that. It's not conservative to judge people. You're not conserving anything. It takes a lot of effort to go out there and judge
Spending
people.
a lot of energy, like you said, judging and creating wars
and telling people what they can put in their bodies or smoke or what they can drink or rules in that nature, or just we're really talking about marijuana and things like that. I mean, he's not a libertarian when it comes to social issues, and it's questionable to whether he would actually be libertarian on other issues. He talks the talk, but it doesn't resonate with me. It's hard to hear someone talk the talk when they're so close to everything
the
that
status
is
quo.
Yes, and not necessarily. Yeah, I mean, literally in bed with the status quo. For the first time, I get to say literally in bed with.
Yeah, and then he's referring to Ted Cruz and his wife with connections to the Council on Foreign Relations and to Goldman Sachs. For those of you, I advise you to look further into that. We talked a little bit earlier about civil liberties. We've got the NDA, we've got HR 347, of course the Patriot Act, Military Commissions Act. They've got drones in the skies. All of this focus on Americans and homegrown terrorism and things like that. I mean, what are your opinions on that, and how you could try to slow that machine down, or if you want to?
Well, I mean, if you don't want your government to, if you don't want the people, I mean, I'm bad at old quotes because I try to stay away from sounding like everybody else who just talks about the Constitution. I'm a Constitution guy, but I try to stay away from all the old quotes and everything else. I'd like to speak specifically about libertarianism and being free, but what's that old quote? Government should fear the people. People should not fear government. And I think most of the problem, when people start believing, and I don't really believe that we have a problem as such. I think it's just as used to get more control over people. But if there indeed was a problem, I think it stems from the fact that a lot of people believe our government is spiraling out of control, and I think our government knows that it's going to continue to spiral out of control. And they want to have a hammer down on the American people because they know they're going to make things worse instead of better. Because every time, it doesn't matter whether it was Bush or whether it was Obama, we just keep growing in this ever-increasing welfare warfare state, and it's unsustainable. And what's the point of it? Why would they do that? It seems like smart people wouldn't do that. But do you really think George Bush is a smart person? Do you really believe Barack Obama is a smart person? I mean, obviously, George Bush is fails that test on many levels when we talked about the wars or just in general. But anybody that with basic math skills could tell you that Obama is out to lunch. Anybody with basic math skills could tell you that Paul Ryan's out to lunch. And this is, but there's a whole mass of Americans that are just led to believe that these guys are going to save us. And don't worry if they, just don't vote for the other guy. And we have a whole country that doesn't vote for people, they vote against people. And I realize I'm asking people in a way to vote against Ted Cruz, but I want them to vote against Ted Cruz because they see what I'm all about.
Definitely, and I'm glad you made that point, because I don't want to act as if I'm personally here or the message is to just be against something, to be against Ted Cruz, but to recognize what Ted Cruz really is about, and then to choose to be for something for liberty. And maybe John J. Myers is your man for that. So please check him out.